Okay, one more video. This one's about hepatitis B vaccinations, and I've done thousands. I've consulted on, I think, more than several million of these vaccinations now, and I've physically done over 1,000. So let's talk about them. First of all, who needs a vaccination? Um, all members of a family that have a Hep B positive member, all sexual partners of a Hep B positive person, all babies born to a hepatitis B mum. I would suggest everyone in Africa and Asia, and all staff who come into contact with blood. These could be cleaners. There's a whole long list of people that come into contact with blood. We'll talk about them later. So let's just have a look at the vaccine. This is my favorite, HBV Vax Pro. I use thousands of these things. The way that the vaccine works is you have 3 injections. 3 of these. In there's 1 injection. So you need 3 injections. Goes into the shoulder, into the shoulder, into the shoulder. It lasts at least 10 years. But it can last up to 20, depending on how you respond to the actual vaccination. There's a schedule, and this is another version. The other one is Engerix B. So there are these 2 main brands for adult vaccinations that come in these types of injections. This is Engerix B. Both the same, just different manufacturers. And now the standard schedule for these vaccinations is you have an injection on day 1, an injection on day 30, and an injection after 6 months, or day 180. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of a wibble wobble there. I've had some people that miss this 6-month jab for 12 months. Doesn't matter, just have it. But then this is the schedule I use. It's called the FAST schedule. We've done, I think it's about 400,000 prisoners with this, and I like all my sexual partners to have this, and all my workers to have this, because it gets the thing done nice and quick. It's an injection on day 1, injection on day 7, injection on day 21. And I find that when we do vaccines like that, they're quicker, it's more likely that no one forgets. Great little vaccine schedule, and it works just as effectively. Now, those 2 are single shot vaccines, we call those. But it's important to understand that around the world, nearly all children now are vaccinated as part of the childhood schedule. So you get these vaccination cards or red books where your child's vaccinations are recorded, and this one is called the Hexa Valent, and you can see there are 6 different vaccines in the pre-filled syringe. You've got diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, Hep B, polio, influenza. So there's a range, 6 in 1. 5 in 1, I think this one is. So check your vaccination card and see if your child's had this. Another kind of 5 in 1 version is this Penta vaccine. And again, check your child's vaccination cards, and you've got a few in 1 there as well. Different countries have different schedules, but it's important to know that your child's protected. So, have a look and see. A lot of parents find out they have Hep B and then they want to vaccinate their children. But it's more important to check the vaccine card first. If your child's already vaccinated, it's time to know. Now, once you've had your vaccinations, I do like to test the antibody levels to study how well the vaccination works. And these are some of the thousands of reports that my laboratory has sent back. I take the blood from the elbow, little vial of blood, and then we ask the laboratory to tell us how immune the client or the person is. And if you look here, Hep B antibody, he's got a lovely score of 561. This one will be good for 10, 15 years, easy. And then you might have a booster. Moving on to this one, we're looking here at a nice score, 210. Again, great for 10 years, 15 years, but then worth a booster. We look at this one. We see the antibody here is only 31. But I love this test because this is a test of a patient that was on a hepatitis B trial, and the person was cured of Hep B on the drug trial. So people need to realize that we're now actually testing people and saying, you've cured your Hep B on the trial. So, people are getting fixed, and this was the first time that the UK laboratories invented a new code that cured on a vaccine trial, on a trial of a hepatitis drug. And here we see that the proof of being cured, of course, is you develop hepatitis B antibodies. It's a small level. Most people who've had Hep B and cleared Hep B will have this type of lower level. There won't be hundreds and hundreds. It's often 10 or 20. Moving on. Here we see I vaccinated this client, and he's what we call a no responder. Now, about 10 to 20% of people don't get antibodies. Their immune system thinks, right, I've learned how to kill hepatitis B, I don't need the antibodies. But even still, if they've had 3 injections, I always say you're safe for 5 years, and then have a booster. So, if you've had your 3 injections, don't think, oh, they didn't work. Yeah, they worked, but you're one of those people that does not develop a lot of antibodies or retain the antibodies. Important point. This one, another one, poor responder. And you can see here, whenever we find that someone doesn't respond to the vaccine, we automatically test core antibodies, which show if the person's had Hep B in the past and cleared it. This guy hadn't had Hep B before. And we tested for the antigen as well. So whenever we get a no response, we automatically, by law in England, check to see if they had it or if they actually got Hep B, which is why they're not responding. In this case, of course, they didn't have any previous infection, didn't have Hep B, but are a poor responder. I would have gone back and given them a booster shot anyway. This is sort of half the people that have the vaccinations get this score. It's 1,000 score, beautiful, beautiful score, good for 20 years, maybe life, great score. There are about 500 companies and agencies and giant organizations that we've helped to vaccinate. And these are all people that need vaccinations: nurses, doctors, carers, first aiders, funeral morticians and staff, tattooists, soldiers, contact sports people, cleaners of blood, police and security, hairdressers, sewage workers, dental assistants, beauticians that they're botoxing, they're waxing, they're shaving, custodial staff in prisons and mental asylums, emergency workers, your ambulance people, sex workers, hospital porters, caretakers, mopping up blood, special needs staff, the kids are biting you and a bit confused, migrant workers, child foster carers, asylum prison staff, chefs, cut themselves a lot, builders, cut themselves a lot, mechanics, always damaging their hands with the same tools, acupuncturists, people that make metal legs and arms and things, chemists, laboratory technicians. So just those are a few of the people that we've vaccinated over the years, companies and agencies. And for many of them, we've on our website. You have to go to the website to check all these. But we've got little booklets for you, like for your specific industry, what you need to do. Moving on from there, boosters. If you do an immunity test and the test is under 100, it's good to get a booster injection. Just one shot into the old arm and bring the immunity level back up. We also find that people want to know, when am I immune? When's it safe to say have sex or travel? Well, if you can get 2 injections into you, a week after that, I would say that, you're safe. You're very safe. I mean, 3 injections protect for 10 years. 2 injections will definitely have you safe for the next 6 months. So yeah, that's the sort of time lab you want to give it. When you're doing immunity tests to see how much antibodies the vaccine's given you, it's good to wait 9 weeks after the last injection. That gives you a good read. Don't immunity test so quick. Another thing we noticed was I did 100 nurses, and there was about 10 of them that didn't respond. And I asked all 10, about their lifestyles. And I found that 4 of them were big drinkers. So they were having their vaccination, going home, drinking a bottle of wine. And that seems to be something that stops the vaccine taking. So just a whisper, if you're having a vaccine, don't drink for a couple of days. Give the vaccine a chance to stay in the blood and help you. If you drink alcohol, you're immediately sweating the toxin out. I think that has a bad effect on the vaccination. Another thing to understand is this vaccine works. It's one of the most effective vaccines we have. So, don't be confused. I actually had a nurse the other day. Oh, I make my husband wear a condom. I was, well, why? And she says, well, he's got Hep B. And I was, but you want to have kids? And she said, yes. And I said, and you're vaccinated, so you can't get Hep B. And she said, oh, I don't trust the vaccine. I was like, you moron. You're very much at risk if you're a nurse of catching Hep B. I think around about 1 in 14 nurses used to catch Hep B before vaccination. And you got to trust the vaccine stops you getting infected. Yeah. So those are the things about Hep B vaccination to understand. And, it's very, very valuable. Get it done. There's just no point having something that stops Hep B and not using it. Another thing, final point, if you already have hepatitis B, the vaccine will not do any good at all. You'll take it and your body will say, I'm already infected. It won't have any effect. It's to prevent Hep B. It doesn't get rid of Hep B that's already there. So, I've heard of patients thinking, I'm going to have the vaccine. You've got patients running around trying everything. Well, it won't work. So really don't do that. All right? And that's hepatitis B vaccines. Thanks very much.